Here's the thing that nobody tells you about getting your home ready to sell. Every single dollar you spend fixing it up is a dollar that goes right into the buyer's benefit, not yours. And that one sentence is exactly why most sellers do this completely backwards. They panic, they overspend, and they renovate the wrong things and ignore the things that actually move the needle forward. And they end up stressed and poorer because of it. The sellers I work with, well, they don't do that. They follow a system. 6 simple steps, and step 1 costs you nothing but an hour of your time and a notepad, but it changes the entire way your home shows to a buyer. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly what to fix, what to ignore, and how to spend every dollar like it matters. Because it does. So let's get into it. Step 1, walk through your own home as if you're seeing it for the first time, as if you're the one who's buying it, who just pulled up in front of the house and is deciding whether or not to leave or walk in and check things out. Here's why this is hard. You live there. Your brain has stopped seeing all the scuffed baseboards, the squeaky door, and the cluttered corner because you walk past it every single day. So you have to force fresh eyes. Yeah, so here's what to do. Park at the curb, walk up like a stranger, and open the door slowly. Move from room to room with a notepad or your phone or both, and write down everything that needs to be fixed or cleaned up. Don't judge it yet. Don't sort it. Don't price it. Just capture it. The crack, the chip, the smell, the burnt out bulb, the wobbly handle, all of it. And here's a pro tip. As you go through, take photos as you go. The camera can be brutally honest. Things that you've trained yourself to ignore jump out in a photo like you've never seen them before. I recently sold my house in Northern California to move down to Ventura County, and I did this thing exactly. Now, I had some time to do it, so I walked through the entire house, and there were several things, including a little bit of dry rot, a door that was squeaky, and places that some simple paint would fix. So I went through and I decided on step 2 of exactly what to do. So let's do step 2. Now you take that messy list and you sort every item into 4 buckets. I call it the 4-bucket sort. It's pretty simple. 4 buckets are: first, the professional fix. Anything involving permits, safety, electrical. If doing it wrong could hurt someone or blow up in the inspection, that's for a pro. Bucket 2 is what I like to call my fix. This is stuff that you can genuinely handle yourself. Caulk a tub, swap a bulb, tighten a handle, touch up the paint, rehang a closet door. So these are the things, and it obviously depends on how handy you are with which bucket these items fall into. Number 3 in the bucket list is the simple cleanup. These are not broken things. There's just clutter or dirt. All these places end up gathering dirt, and we just kind of ignore them most of the time. So this is about declutter, deep clean, power wash, trimming the hedges, clearing the garage. This bucket is the highest return on the planet because it costs almost nothing. And then last but not least is, yes, the ignore bucket. Some things a buyer will never notice, or they just know that they're buying a house that they're going to have to deal with some things. So take advantage of that. Putting money here is like lighting it on fire, so just don't do it. Be honest in this step. Most sellers put way too many things under the professional and my fix, and they think that they can just fix everything, and it's just not necessary. Because remember, every dollar you spend is a dollar that's going to the benefit of the buyer. On this list, I actually included a couple things that were a little bit out of my skill set because I just had decided I need to figure out how to do things. So I actually had an eave with some dry rot on it. I got into it. It ended up being a lot less hard than I originally thought it was. Got it all up, painted it. It looked great. And the best part is because I did that little fix, during the inspections, nothing popped up. So it looked perfectly clean, even though the non-professional, roofing guy, did the eave fix because of some water-based dry rot. Pretty simple, but it is something that you can do ahead of time and avoid those red flags when the buyer and the buyer's home inspector walk through the house. So let's get on to step 3. Take everything that you put onto the professional fix bucket and get quotes. 2 or 3 per item is plenty. Don't go too crazy. I've even done this with just 1 quote at a time, because at this point, hopefully you've got a little bit of time, and you can also switch between a contractor specifically in that field and a handyman. a lot of those items can be taken care of either way. You do need to find a handyman that is going to be honest with you if he feels like something is out of his scope of ability to fix. The nice thing about getting those full 3 quotes, it does take you a little bit more time to get those, but it gives you an honest price. It gives you negotiation power, and it gives you an actual number you need for the next step, because you can't decide whether a repair project is worth it until you understand what the actual costs are going to be. All right, step 4. And this is the one that separates the sellers who profit from the sellers who just spend. For every repair, Pro Bucket and your own bucket, you have to ask one question. Will this repair bring me in more money than it costs? I've recently done a video on exactly this, so just go back into my catalog and you can check it out. This is all about not will this be a nice fix, but is this going to increase the value or even stabilize the value when a buyer walks through the house. Some repairs return 2 or 3 times the value you put into them, but some repairs just take money out of your pocket and give you 50 cents. A buyer doesn't pay extra for the brand of the water heater. They just expect there to be a water heater. That is the same with the bathrooms and the kitchens. They expect that there's going to be a bathroom and a kitchen. So a lot of times we talk about wanting to make all of these things super upgraded, but if it's functional and works, it might just be the best thing to do is to leave it alone. You don't need to make this overly complicated either. You can run this list through AI. You can ask contractors. Heck, you can even watch my old videos and decide which one of these items is really going to get you a good return. There is plenty of information out there. You just need to look and find it. Remember the line from the top. Every dollar you spend benefits the buyer. So you only spend the dollars that come back to you in a higher price, a faster sale, and a cleaner inspection. Now, when I sold my house, I actually have pets. I've got a few cats and a dog. One of my dogs was actually pretty elderly and was having accidents late in life. And so I had carpet, let's be honest, that was just horrible. But most buyers understand when they're coming into a brand new home, they are typically, unless the carpet is perfect and exactly the color and style that they love, they are going to plan on making those repairs themselves, meaning that they're going to come in and replace the carpet. So the last thing I wanted to do was spend an exorbitant amount of money guessing what the buyer's tastes were as far as the carpet. So what did I do? I went through and paid a professional to do a super deep clean on everything and just kind of counted on the buyers replacing the carpets themselves. I even had in my head, hey, I'm going to have to give them a credit. They're going to know that the carpet needs to be replaced, and I'm willing to help with that, but I'm not willing to go through the expense prior to selling. I even had one room that I had ripped out the carpet in half of it because I had turned it into a home gym. And what I ended up doing in that room is ripping all the carpet out and just leaving it as a slab concrete, as opposed to going in and replacing just that half. So half the room would have looked brand new and the other half would have looked used. It ended up working out wonderfully, but I made these assessments with understanding buyers know that they are buying a home that is actually used. So let's get into step 5 now. Step 5, for everything that survived the ROI test, you need to decide when to fix it. And this is all about your personal timing. If you have 6 months before you need to sell, this gives you plenty of time to do these things. If you don't have that kind of time, maybe it needs to be in escrow. So let's talk about that. Should you fix it ahead of time? This has great effects on things like your home showings and the photographs that actually get taken. So it really depends on the type of fix that it needs to be. Anything a buyer sees, smells, or feels in the first 30 seconds should be really thought about doing before you actually show your property. That drives what the offer will be more than you know. You never want a fixable flaw lowering your offers. There's also option number 2 is fix it during escrow. This is where things are a little bit more invisible and you know that there's going to pop up on an inspection. And the key here is, I'll get into it in our next video a little bit more detail, but the key here is do those inspections on your own so you have them ready. So when a buyer walks through, one of the things that I love to do is get a couple roof quotes, have those laying on the counter in the kitchen. What that does is it gives certainty to a buyer when they are making an offer. If they know that there are some repairs that are needed on the roof, they can actually attach a specific number to what that repair is going to cost, as opposed to just having the realtor say, oh, this is a $40,000 roof. And in their heads, they're like, geez, I'm going to buy this house and I instantly have to repair a $40,000 roof. If you get quotes, you can tell them exactly what those numbers are going to be, and you just eliminate that uncertainty from the buyer's offer, which usually means a much higher offer. Now, a lot of these things can be handled inside of the escrow, and it just depends on how long that repair is going to take. And if you want to go through that expense at all, a lot of times I really advise people to just give a credit if where credit is due, so you don't have to actually slow down an escrow to get the deal done. All right, step 6 is now and only now you actually do the work. Pro items to be for the pros, your items for you, clean up top to bottom, but the whole time you need to keep rule number 1 taped into your forehead. Every dollar I spend is a dollar that benefits the buyer. So I spend deliberately, I spend it where it comes back to me, and I do not spend to impress myself, soothe my anxiety, or just in case. Spend wisely, and you walk into a listing calm, prepared, and holding the strongest possible position. That's what selling without the stress actually looks like. It's a plan, it's a system, and it makes the whole thing much more smooth. Now, I built a free seller's workbook, and you can find the link to that in the description below. Take advantage of it. It goes through this and a whole bunch more without any obligation from me. So take a look. And if you're looking for a second set of eyes, feel free to reach out. I know that all of this can be daunting. So in part 2 of this, I'm going to show you what happens after the repairs, how to price and stage your property. So subscribe for that next video, and I will talk to you soon.
From the coast to the hills, we know the way. Quiet key, soft light, Ventura Bay. Ocean breeze, open doors, fresh stars today. Take